Okay. Good morning, everybody. Are we getting kind of close to being set up here, ready to go?
Mr. Chair, we're just experiencing some delays, some technical difficulties, so just please bear with us and we'll get started shortly.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we're getting ready to get started here. Looks like Sarah has been able to join us now. I'm trying to get my view so I can see the whole chambers here. Okay, so it looks like we've got Commissioners Enders, Beasley, and Baker that are joining us online, and of course myself. I'll be back in after the first of the year. Still nursing this little surgery I had. Also want to recognize here, we've got uh, Commissioner Rojas. He's, from my understanding, is stepping down for us, and we've got so want to recognize him for and thank him for all of his work that he's done with the commission and taking care of us and being a part of this group for the last, gosh, it's been 4 years already. So thank you, Mr. Rojas, for all your work and everything you've done for us on this. Um, and also with that, I believe we've got a couple of new commissioners that have come in. So one is so Ashley Sadowski had not renewed her term, and so we got that one, and then of course one that's filling in for Mr. Rojas for us. So if we can, I'd like those two new commissioners to say hello and kind of introduce who they are and just give us their name and and let us know who you are. Thank you for joining the Planning Commission here. So I think, Luis, do you mind saying hello and introducing who you are? Everybody hear me okay, or?
Mr. Chair, we're having audio issues in the city council chambers.
Oh,
So we can hear you on Zoom, but we cannot hear the city council chambers.
okay. So we need to wait a little bit till we get that figured out.
Yes, please. Our
Okay.
apologies.
All right. Let me know when that's ready to go.
Will do.
Thank you.
Check 1, 2.
Can you hear us,
Planning
commissioners?
people? You
I
should
can
be-
hear you.
Please don't stick the mics up at the ceiling. That's what causes feedback.
What?
Please don't point the mics at the ceiling.
Mhm.
But you should be good now.
Toby, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. You guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
I guess we need to start recording is it recording?
I've heard it start and stop a couple times, so Paulina will need to answer that question.
Okay. All right, thank you. As we get started back up again, again, I want to thank Mr. Rojas for all his work that he's done with us on the commission. And we've got a couple of new commissioners joining us today. And unfortunately, they're the only ones in the chambers today. The rest of us are joining online, and we do have a couple that are not with us today. One that's still fighting a illness right now, and the other one I think has a sick kid, and hopefully she'll be able to join us after a while. I'd like to have the new commissioners say hello and then introduce themselves if they can, just so everybody knows who you are.
Yeah, I'm Matt Hassick. I'm architectural designer here in Kansas City, and I've spent a great deal of my time advocating for better urban spaces in Kansas City. Excited to serve on the commission.
Very good. Thank you.
And I'm Luis Padilla, owner of Fresco Marketing, and I'm honored to be here and excited to work together with this commission.
All right, very good. So again, good morning. Welcome to the December 19th, 2023 City Planning Commission meeting. This one is our last one of 2023. We thank you for your patience as a lot of us commissioners are joining remotely for some reason today. I will be back again after the first of the year. We look forward to hearing your case, and we understand every project is important and unique, and we want to make sure we address all of the docketed items individually with the attention they deserve to build consensus between the applicant, public, and city staff. We also believe we can reach consensus by being brief yet heard. Because our meeting is recorded and virtual, we have time limits for the cases that we hear, which is 5 minutes for staff presentations, 20 minutes for the applicant, plus any questions by the commissioners. So then when we move to public comment, I will call on those who are in the chambers first, followed by those who are joining us virtually. Public comments are expected to be no longer than 2 minutes when speaking as an individual, or up to 5 minutes when representing a community association or a larger group. In all instances, please limit repetitive comments. And also those of you that are joining us virtually, please help us keep the meeting on track by being ready to speak when promoted with your camera on and unmuted. So as we get ready to start our meeting, I ask staff to provide some additional ground rules and instructions to ensure that we have minimal disruption and maximum clarity. So Joe, can you remind us of those ground rules, please?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you. In addition to what Chairman Crowell stated, when we announce a case, it'll be me or Larissa that announces a case today. If you're a member of the applicant team and you're on Zoom, go ahead and raise your hand in Zoom, and you will receive a request to be promoted. You'll have to accept that. And then as the chair mentioned, once you're promoted over to a panelist position, you'll be able to share your audio and video. So we ask that you remain muted until you're called upon. If you are a member of the public wishing to speak in public testimony on any case, you may, if you're in Zoom, you may raise your hand at any point after the planner begins their presentation, and we'll do the same for you in promoting you over. You have to accept that promotion and again, remain muted until you're called upon to speak. For everyone in Zoom, participating in Zoom, just want to let you know that those who are in the chamber will be given the opportunity to speak first, and then we will move to folks who are in Zoom. And then the last thing for everyone to be aware of is that the chat feature in Zoom is just for questions regarding where we're at on the agenda or technology related questions, and it's not to be used for commenting on a project or providing any testimony. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. So let's go ahead and start with our consent agenda item. And I believe this one is looking to be continued to a future date.
Yeah, the first one on consent, docket item C1, case CPC 2023-00164. Request to approve a project plan in District B3 for retail sales use on 1.5 acres at Northwest Berry Road and North Green Hills Road. On this one, the applicant is requesting continuance to January 2nd, and staff recommends no fee.
Any questions from the commission regarding continuance of this docket item? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding continuance of docket item C1, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
Mr. Chair, there's no one in the chamber wishing to speak and no one on Zoom has raised their hand.
Okay, so with that, we'll close public testimony then, and I'll take a motion, please, for continuance of docket item C1.
Chair Crowell, I move to continue docket item C1 to January 2nd without fee.
Second.
A motion and a second for continuance of docket item C1. Giovanni, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Baker,
Aye.
Beasley. Beasley,
Hear you, Miss Beasley. Can you just give us a thumbs up or not? All right, thank you.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hassick,
Aye.
Sedalia,
Aye.
Okay, it looks like the motion passes to continue docket item C1 to the January 2nd meeting. All right, with that, let's move to our regular agenda items. Joe, beginning with the cases that are looking to be continued to a future meeting, please.
All right, the first continuance request is docket item 6, case ROW 2023-00007. A request to approve a vacation of public right-of-way of about 162 feet located on the west side of Santa Fe Street between 11th Street and Union Avenue. The applicant is requesting continuance to January 16th, and staff recommends no fee. Next item is docket item 11, case SUP 2023-00044. A request to approve a special use permit for gasoline and fuel sales on 2 acres located 400 feet north of the corner of Blue Ridge Boulevard and Old Santa Fe Road. The applicant is requesting continuance to February 6th. Staff recommends no fee. And docket item 12, case CPC 2023-00144, a request to approve a rezoning to District UR from District R 2.5 and approve a development plan for mixed-use development on 3.5 acres at the northwest corner of Benton Boulevard and 37th Street. The applicant is requesting continuance of February 6th, and staff recommends no fee.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners regarding continuance of docket items 6, 11, or 12?
I have to recuse from 12, so should I just sit out the entire motion?
Yeah, I
Or-
don't think on a continuance you shouldn't have to sit out, but that's okay. Yeah, if you want to sit out the whole deal, that's fine.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, so seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up for any public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding continuance of docket items number 6, 11, or 12, please raise your hand or using the Zoom feature or come forward in the chambers there.
Mr. Chair, there's no one in the chamber wishing to speak and no one on Zoom has raised their hand.
Okay, we'll close public testimony then, and I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Corral, I move to continue docket items 6, 11, and 12 as stated in the docket.
Okay. Looking for a second. I think Commissioner Beasley gave us a second, but I still can't hear you yet. So with that, Giovanni, can you take motion on the continuance of those docket items, please?
Baker,
He's recusing himself.
sorry. Beasley. Crowell. Enders.
Aye.
Passick. Padilla.
Aye.
Okay, looks like the motion passes in 5-0. All right, with that, Joe, let's go ahead and start off with docket item number 1, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can hear you now.
Docket item 1 is case CPC 2023-00168. A request to approve a major amendment to a previously approved development plan to allow for a parking lot and building additions in District M1-5 on 25 acres at 7501 Prospect Avenue. Genevieve Khan is the staff planner.
Good morning, commissioners. One moment while I share my screen.
Is the applicant available too?
Jeff Stockman has raised his hand and I will promote them.
Okay, just making sure.
All right, docket item number 1 is for a major amendment to a previously approved development plan at the Alpha Point facility at 7501 Prospect Avenue. Subject site is generally located just west of 71 Highway and within the SWOPE area plan. This is the subject site outlined in yellow. It is currently zoned M1-5, which is an industrial zoning district, and contains the existing Alpha Point Association for the Blind. The main building on the site contains warehousing and other similar light industrial uses. The site was zoned and previously developed for this facility in 1999. And now we have the site plan for the proposed expansion. You can see there is a proposed building addition in the existing notch area of the building, which is approximately 18,000 square feet and about 30 additional parking spaces attached to the existing parking lot. And the size of the building addition and this impervious surface is what required a major amendment to that previously approved plan. And then we have the landscape plan. The applicant is providing 6 new street trees along Prospect Avenue, and the existing parking lot over to the north here, as well as the addition will be fully screened by new landscaping from the right of way. And then some building elevations. We have the existing building and then the proposed new construction. It will utilize the same materials and colors and blend in with the existing building. And the addition that I showed you on the site plan will not be very visible from the right of way, so it shouldn't be very imposing on the site. And then just a few street view images of the site. This is that southern entrance, and you can see the existing parking lot. The expansion will come out to the south slightly, and the new landscaping and street trees will be in this general area. And then this is a view from the private drive that runs behind the building, and this is the area where the building addition will be placed. And staff recommends approval with conditions for this development plan major amendment. And that concludes my presentation. I can take any questions at this time.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the commissioners regarding docket item number 1? All right, I don't see any. So with that, let's go ahead and welcome the applicant to this case. The applicant available?
Yes, my name is Jeff Stockman. I'm with ACI Boland Architects. Can everyone hear me okay? So yeah, I think Genevieve did a pretty good job of describing the project. I don't know, how much everybody knows or doesn't know about the owners of the facility, but they're one of the largest employers of the vision impaired in the country. So they're looking to expand their existing warehouse and kind of flip the office functions that are in the existing building into this new part, so they can open that up for some possible new fabrication space, and then create more warehouse space, and in the process kind of add the additional required parking, plus take care of some perceived shortfalls in the parking they have now. One of the things that wasn't mentioned but is part of the project too is coming off one of the main employee entrances. They're looking to build additional covered drop-off area so the employees have some protection from the elements, and with them being visually impaired, it gives kind of a defined area for them to be in to kind of help keep them safe while coming and going from the project. So that's kind of the primary focus of what we're trying to do. Is there any questions to that?
Thank you for that. Any questions from the commissioners to the applicant? Anybody from the chambers have questions? Okay. All right, with that, since there's no questions, thank you for the presentation there and talking more about the project. Let's open it up for any public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 1, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
Chair, there's no one in the chamber wishing to speak and no one on Zoom has raised their.
Okay, let's go ahead and close public testimony then. Anything else you'd like to add, applicant, to this project?
No, I mean, I know that the owners are very excited to get this going. They try to be a great partner in their neighborhood and area, and I think they feel like this is going to do nothing but help.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you. So with that, we'll close testimony then and speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowell, I move to recommend approval for docket item 1 with conditions.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 1 with conditions stated. Giovanni, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Baker,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Prowl, Enders,
Aye.
Hassett. Sedalia.
Aye.
Okay, it looks like the motion passes then. Thank you, Mr. Stockman, for bringing that in, and good luck as you move forward.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Joe, let's go ahead and move on to docket item number 2, please.
All right, docket item 2 is 3 companion cases starting with 2.1, case CPC 2023-00175. Request to approve an amendment to the Truman Plaza area plan to change the recommended land use from residential low density to residential high density on 1/3 of an acre at 916 Newton Avenue. Docket item 2.2, case CPC 2023-00172. Request to approve a rezoning from District R 2.5 to District R 1.5 at the same location. And docket item 2.3, case number SUP 2023-00050. Request to approve a special use permit for a group living use at the same location. Genevieve Kahn is the staff planner.
Okay, docket item Number 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3, as Joe stated, are for an area plan amendment, rezoning, and a special use permit, all for Sheffield Place at 916 Newton Avenue. The site is generally located in the eastern portion of the city, between Independence Avenue on the north and Truman Road on the south generally. Here is the subject site outlined in yellow. There is an existing house on the site that will be demolished for the proposed project. And Sheffield Place also has a property and building located just to the south of East 10th Street. So first looking at the area plan amendment, as you can see here, the yellow represents residential low density, which is the future land use recommendation in the Truman Plaza area plan, which does not align necessarily with the current zoning, which is R-2.5, or the proposed zoning, which is R-1.5. So the Long Range Planning Division requested that the applicant amend this plan to a residential high density designation, which more accurately aligns with the proposed rezoning to R-1.5, which is a higher density. So as I mentioned, the site is currently zoned R-2.5, and the request is to rezone to R-1.5, which allows the group living residential buildings when they are approved through a special use permit, which is also before you. And then, as you can see here, Sheffield Place also rezoned the property to the south back in 2019 to allow for similar use. And then we have the site plan that was reviewed for the special use permit. Again, this is a group living facility, and the proposed building is 1 story and just under 6,000 square feet. The front of the building will face East 10th Street and have a interior courtyard area. The applicant is also requesting a special exception to the fence of to the height of their proposed fence, which is 8 feet, and only 6 feet is allowed in the side yard. So we will be requesting that from the Board of Zoning Adjustment when the case is heard. Then I have the landscape plan here just to show that the property will be aesthetically planted and somewhat screened. And then some of the building elevations that were provided. The building materials are complementary to the surrounding neighborhood and continues that residential character. Then just some street views of the site. This is the corner of 10th and Newton. So this is the subject site in front of you. And then this is the eastern side of the site, and then this is the existing house that will be demolished. And then a view looking west on East 10th Street. So the subject site is on your right, and Sheffield's existing building is on your left. So they'll be complementary to each other. And then the property to the south that Sheffield has already developed does have a parking area. So the proposed project has a parking agreement to utilize some of those spaces as required. Staff recommends approval of the area plan amendment, rezoning, and approval with conditions for my apologies, that should say special use permit, which will go on to be heard by Board of Zoning Adjustment. And I can take any questions at this time.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. I just want to make sure, so we're only looking at the northwest corner, is that correct? Or we're looking at the southwest as well, of 10th and Newton?
Northwest corner, correct.
That's it, okay. All right, any questions from the commission regarding docket item number 2? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and welcome the applicant then.
Good morning, Matt Slish with Engineering Solutions. With me today, we have Kelly Welch with Sheffield Place, Skylar Phelps, who is a board member, Matthew Conley, the architect. So we're here today, and the reason we kind of talked about that project there at southwest corner at 10th and Newton is that's kind of a complementary use to exactly what we're planning to do here. Kelly and Sheffield Place have done a great job in the area to provide housing and resources, which I'll let her kind of explain for the area. And this is kind of a continuation of that process. So the overall development is a great improvement for the area. The variance that we're requesting for the fence in the rear yard that we'll talk about at the BZA is simply we have a playground area in the backyard, and the 8-foot fence provides a little more security. Otherwise, I think I'll let Kelly kind of talk through the process of what the use is and what Sheffield Place does.
Thank you. Good morning. Sheffield Place, our main facility is at 12th and Bennington. We've been there over 30 years. And we also have houses in that same area. And you saw we saw our Hopeful building site and then the one that we did a couple of years ago. We specifically serve homeless moms with children, and our kind of area that we provide in the community is housing and helping moms get stable who have lots of barriers. So last year, 100% of our moms had a mental health diagnosis, 95% had a substance abuse issue, a lot of domestic violence. Many of our moms grew up in foster care or were runaways. So our moms are homeless, but they have there's lots of other things that they need to also address before they can become stable. Our mission is to help them become stable with their kids and be part of the community. So have jobs, be employed, be housed, be clean and sober. So be contributing members to the community. We've partnered with the city over the years. We have about 10 units of permanent housing. Many of them are in that same neighborhood. Actually, a couple of them are across the street. And families who struggle to find permanent housing elsewhere because of evictions or felonies or just history of poor renting can live in our permanent housing as well. So we feel like that that neighborhood is the perfect place for us. Like I said, we've been there over 30 years. We're in the old Y, for those of you who have been around more than 30 years. And that's where everybody comes in. We do case management, therapy, children's therapy, 23 hours of group a week. And in 2010, we had served 20 families. And this year we'll serve about 150 families, which is about 15% of the calls we get for services. So there's still a huge need in the community. The building that we're discussing, the plans, also, in addition to having 5 living units, will also have space for us to do more group work and to further engage our families who are in aftercare. The beginning of this year, we had about 30 families in aftercare. That's up to 50. And we see that's the way to really grow and help those families stay in the community, stay stable, stay employed. So we think this building is going to really further our mission and help a lot more families with a lot more services. So we appreciate your consideration, and we always appreciate the city's support and the staff support. So thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate the information and everything that you guys are doing there. It's a lot of good work. Are there any questions from the commission to the applicant? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket items 2.1, 2.2, or 2.3, please raise your hand using the Zoom feature or come forward, and I'll call upon those that are in the chambers first.
Mr. Chair, it does look like we have someone in the chamber wishing to speak. Go ahead. Come up, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Mark Morales, longtime Sheffield neighborhood resident, and I'm the Sheffield neighborhood president. Our executive board is in full support of this special permit use for Sheffield Place. We have an orchard right across the street from the building, and they have their existing, but this is all a community driven project, and we're in full support of this. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, Joe?
No, Mr. Chair, there's no one else in the chamber. No one on Zoom is raising their hand.
Okay, all right, with that, we'll go ahead and close public testimony then. Anything else you'd like to add, applicants, to this case?
No, we just thank you for your time.
Okay, and you guys have seen the conditions on there as well, and okay with those?
Yes, we are.
Okay. All right, with that, we'll close testimony then and speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowell, I move to approve docket item 2.1 and 2.2 without conditions and 2.3 with conditions.
Second.
So I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket items 2.1, 2.2 without conditions and 2.3 with conditions. Giovanni, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Baker,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Proud,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hassick,
Aye.
Padilla,
All right, great. Looks like the motion passes 6-0. Thank you again for bringing it in, and good luck as you move forward. All right, moving right along. Let's go to docket item number 3, please.
Docket item 3 is case CPC 2023-00167. Request to approve a residential cottage house development in District R 2.5 on 1 acre at East 61st Street and Swope Parkway. Andy Clark is the staff planner.
All right, good morning, Chairman Crowell and fellow commissioners and our new commissioners. Good morning. I will share.
Morning.
Okay, before you today is docket number 3, CD CPC 2023-167. This is a residential development plan at 3702 East 61st Street. This is in the 5th Council District, located in the southeast quadrant of the city. You can see here the property is just over a ½ acre directly west of Swope Parkway on the north side of East 61st Street. The applicant is proposing a cottage home development for a total of 9 cottages, and they will be a mixture of studios, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. Here is the site. There was a structure here, I believe, until 2017, and the site is suitable for this type of development. It's 100 feet wide and 300 feet in depth. Here is an axonometric of the site. As you can see, it will be a private drive, which is required by fire code to serve the cottages. And then the Y on the north end is the turnaround required by fire code. This is the overall site plan. It will be a mixture, like I said, of different units from the studio to 3 bedroom. All of the front porches do front one another. And then here are a few elevations of what the applicant is proposing. So they are all cottages, but they will unique character and style. There were 2 conditions that I did not add to the original staff report. This is for the deviations to the cottage house standards. Due to the size of the site, the applicant is asking for a deviation for the type or the roof slope that is permitted, as well as deviations to make the front porch 10 square feet smaller than what is required, I believe, on 3 of the cottages, not all of them. After working with the applicant, staff is recommending approval with conditions for this case. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners to city staff?
My only question is, I know that this is part of, this could be allowed by right, so what triggers the application here? Is it just the zoning that it's currently in?
Cottage home.
I think the issue that's triggered is we have a provision. The code does say you can do cottage houses in certain zoning districts.
Yeah,
However, we have a different provision in the code that also says that anytime you have two or more principal buildings on one lot, it requires a development plan to be approved.
okay,
And then there's a third provision that says when there's conflicting provisions, the more restrictive will apply. And so in this case, we interpret the requirement in the code that two or more principal buildings on one lot triggers the development plan for cottage houses.
okay. I'm just, in my professional life, I've looked at these before and we were looking at doing it by right, and so I just was wondering how that played out. So that makes sense.
And then in regards to the roof slope, is the so as I understand it, we're adding a condition to allow for 3 by 12. Is the way it's currently written, is that a aesthetic choice or is that for structural purposes? And if it's for structural purposes, I take it that there are no concerns about the way the building is situated, that with, you know, whatever amount of snow accumulation, the structure would be fine.
I mean, aesthetically to complement the existing neighborhood fabric that these are commonly found in.
Right.
So it is not structural.
Yes, and
Thanks.
this for only one of the unit, code says that about 18 feet high, the roof shall be 6 to 12. However, for one of the cottages, to make it asymmetrical, one side slope, we are requesting it to be 3 by 12.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the commissioners to the city staff? All right, so let's go ahead and welcome the applicant then. Good morning. If you don't mind stating your name and addresses for the record.
Good morning. I'm Melanie Klein. I am an associate principal at Draw Architecture and Urban Design. And my home address is 910 West 32nd Street, Kansas City, Missouri, 64111. And also Projecta.
Yeah, hi, my name is Prajakta Tipse. I'm Associate and Sustainability Coordinator at DRAW Architecture and Urban Design. My home address is 6305 Northeast 48th Court, Kansas City, Missouri, 64119.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add regarding this project?
The applicant has a quick presentation that they prepared for today.
Yes, our project is the design really focuses on creating and prioritizing safety, accessibility, and fostering a welcoming environment. It tries to create a safe, accessible space for residents who would be the clients of our Spot KC by providing enhanced lighting and providing visual connection between the cottages to the common spaces. It also strives to promote passive strategies and sustainable design strategies for energy efficiency, for health and wellness and comfort of the residents. This is the axon that Andrew Clark already shared with everyone that we also had in our application, which shows the location of 9 cottages and its placement on site. All the porches look towards each other, towards the central fire drive.
And these axons really show how the neighborhood characteristic is incorporated into our design. Each cottage would have their own unique characteristic, let it be with like some colors and window placement. So each of them will look a little different, but also look like coherent with each other. From East 61st Street, this is the view that you would see, porches and windows that look towards the main East 61st Street, and the welcoming drive, which has porch looking onto it. The site section really shows the placement of the house with respect to neighboring houses, and the scale. It's very similar to the existing neighborhood. And these are some interior developments, which shows the quality of house that this neighborhood would foster with this project. Again, the exterior material, which shows different kind of materials that are seen in the neighborhood, unique features like screen shading, which also acts for the passive strategies, benches, porches, windows looking onto the front street, light exterior sconces that provide lighting to around the houses and in between the cottages that really promotes safety. Yeah, that's about it.
We'd welcome any questions.
I've got one question. Are these going to be for rent or are they going to be for sale?
For rent, and managed by Our Spot KC.
So you will have a management company for all of these?
We actually have Starset present with us who represents Our Spot KC.
Okay.
The question was, will they be for rent or sale? They actually would be a part of our rapid rehousing and transitional program. We currently operate a bi-state program with those same initiatives, and we're just expanding into Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commissions to the applicant?
I have two.
Go right ahead.
I didn't see any area for children to play. And where is parking for tenant and visitors?
Pull up the plan. again.
Yes. So Commissioner Beasley, they do meet the parking requirement of one parking stall.
I just didn't see it diagrammed.
Right,
Where do they park?
We'll pull it up for you.
Okay.
So there are 5 parking stalls. Located in the middle of the development, next to the dumpster area. The property owner also owns a home that is on Swope Parkway. And there are 4 additional parking stalls at that home. So they have a shared parking agreement.
And we have 9 buildings, right?
Correct.
So there's no additional parking for visitors? Because it looked like the street coming in is not wide enough for parking. It just looks like it's wide enough for, what is it, ingress and egress?
For fire code to allow for a fire apparatus.
Okay.
But, yeah.
There's also street parking, and there's a lot of on-street parking available on East 61st.
So this front's on 61st and not Soul Parkway, right?
That's right.
Okay. Okay. And play area?
Feel like the area at the end of the fire lane, at the kind of the center of that Y would be a good area for play or for having group meetings. Also, the property that our spot KC owns, there's a lot facing Swope Parkway. They own this house and the land surrounding it. And so informal play could take place in that area as well.
But you're not gonna have any dedicated equipment and stuff for the kids to play on, right?
We do plan on having that in the back of that existing property. It's just not on this development.
Okay. That's the words I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Great.
Anybody else have any questions? I was just noticing on the site plan, there's a fence that goes all the way around the side. Is that a chain link fence or is that a wood fence or what are you thinking there?
It's a combination of both. So
We do have a 6-foot high privacy fence where going on the west property line, and then a portion of the exterior fence would be chain link. The thought is on the west side, we would like to give more privacy to the neighbors that are in the single family home on the west side of our property.
Is this intended to be a gated community as well, or just the fencing is going on the west, east, and the north side?
right.
Right, just not on the south side, not on the street side.
Okay. Just question for staff, is chain link fence, is that something that's acceptable at this location?
So they are doing the ornamental fence around the majority of the property. We only have the chain link on the northern portion.
That's right.
So if you refer to the landscape plan that's in the staff report, they provided examples of the fencing.
Okay.
Staff is always pretty tough on chain link proposals. So they provided ornamental fencing that would be visible from the right of way.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, if there's no more questions from the commission, then let's go ahead and open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 3, please come forward in the chambers or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, there's no one in the chamber wishing to speak and no one on Zoom has raised their hand.
I have
Okay.
one more quick question, Kobe.
Can I close public testimony first?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and close public testimony then. So let's go ahead, Commissioner Beasley.
You said these are rentals. What are your range of rents?
They're not rentals. They're a part of our rapid rehousing program. We have vouchers through HUD. And so they're sort of like a TBRA, but not. They're meant to allow people to get back on their feet while participating in our full wraparound services and mental health providers on site and things of that nature while saving while they're in the program.
So it's only for restricted clientele that have those vouchers then? It's not open market rentals?
No, it's not a rental at all.
I thought that's what y'all said when we asked if it was for sale or rent.
What we will be, yeah, so it's a project that's supported by the Housing Trust Fund and Rebuild KC. We're just extending our programming. We will be entertaining, project-based vouchers as well too. So to your point, there are qualifiers that allow you to come into the program, but we also operate within the prevention realm. So making sure that folks that may have a job as well too, that just can't afford the rising cost of housing in Kansas City, have a place as well. So it's not a full-on 100% voucher. It is mixed use, but it will be affordable.
So Andrew, I didn't pay attention. Was neighborhood engagement required in this?
Yes, public engagement was done twice for this project. But
And we have a letter of support from the Neighborhood Association president included in our packet.
Okay. Thank you. I'm done, Kobe.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, if there's no more questions, anything else you'd like to add, applicants, before we speak amongst the commission?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we'll close all testimony then and speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll take a motion, please.
Are those clarifications on the deviations, or are those additional conditions?
those are additional conditions.
Okay. Chair Crowell, I move to approve docket item 3 with conditions, adding the 2 conditions as stated by staff related to the deviations.
Second.
Okay, so I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 3, adding the 2 conditions as deviations to the staff report. Giovanni, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
I'm gonna go ahead and take a moment to recuse myself from this motion.
Okay.
Baker,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Proud, Enders,
Aye.
Sedalia,
Aye.
Looks like the motion passes in, 5-0. Thank you for that. Thank you for your project. It looks like a fun project to do, and good luck as you move forward.
thank you so much.
All right, let's move on to docket item number 4, please.
Docket item 4 is case number ROW 2023-00043. A request to vacate public right-of-way in District B3-2 located at the corner of Bel Air Road and Snaya Bar Road. Justin Smith is the staff planner.
Kobe, I'm getting ready to leave. I'll be back.
Okay. You might, if you gotta leave here at 10, I would go ahead and just go now.
All right, good morning, commissioners. Before you, I have CD ROW 2023-0043, a vacation of public right-of-way located just north of 5900 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. The subject site is just southwest of 435 Highway and I-70. More specifically, just a couple hundred feet east of the corner of Snaya Bar Road and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. The red highlighted portion is the portion of public right-of-way to be vacated. 75% adjacent owner consent was achieved with these 2 circled owners. A couple key notes about the properties. The current property owner owns both the north and south properties. Approval would also bring this site into compliance as a dead end was created. There's plans to combine lots for future development. Here's a view looking east from the corner of Bel Air Avenue and the alley. There was a trailer actually in the alley for some time. It is no longer there. There's a view looking south from the corner of Bel Air Avenue and Snibar Road. And then lastly, a view looking north from the corner of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Bel Air Avenue. Staff recommendation is approval subject to conditions, and I can take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners regarding docket item number 4? The spot where I can see everybody here. Okay. All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and welcome the applicant to the case here.
Mr. Chair, I promoted someone named Hussein Kaisar who had raised their hand.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Hussein Quasar. So I'm working alongside myself. I'll be one of the property owners. I have my project manager, Ben Haseen, working on this project, and we'd like to vacate the alleyway for future development into a grocery/convenience store, gas station for the neighborhood for improved food security, economic development, and community wellness and other benefits for the area. And I think Brother Ben will go into more detail on regarding this project that we have.
Okay, perfect. Has he been promoted by chance, or is he with you there?
He's not with me. He should be promoted.
Okay.
Ben Carthage
Yes.
Investment.
Yes.
Okay, he should be available now.
Okay, don't see him yet.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry about that. Can you hear me fine?
Yes. Do you mind turning your camera on?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning. So the plan is to actually the plan consistent of three things. First, we have to do the vacate of the alley, and then for the special use permit, the plan is to develop a nice grocery store along with probably a restaurant there inside, plus a gas station as well in the same site. It will be developed from scratch, and we just want to make sure to go through the process of the approval of the vacate of the alley so we can start with the project.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions from the commission to the applicant? Okay, I don't see any right now. So with that, let's go ahead and open it up for any public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 4, please come forward in the chambers or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, there's no one in the chamber wishing to speak, but one person has raised their hand in Zoom and they've been promoted.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I was curious, what is there other nearby convenience store gas stations where they're proposed, and how does that affect the neighborhood of the proposed area?
So let's see, at this point in time, I think we're talking about the vacation of the roadway right now. That may be a different submittal that comes later, that we can talk a little bit more detail on that.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, unless somebody has an answer for that or wants to answer.
Can I add one thing if that's okay? I just want to say that we contacted all the utility companies and we made sure to do everything like what the city requested to do, and we have not seen any objections. We do acknowledge that there is a sewer easement there, and we are willing and we are okay with leaving that part for the easement for the city or for any other utility companies to have access to the sewer and all that stuff. So the project and the building and the development it's not gonna be at the alley, currently at the alley, but it's gonna still have access to it. So we just requesting the vacate of the alley so we can start on the project. But the alley will remain an alley. An easement.
Kobe,
sorry, will remain an easement.
Kobe, or Chair Crowell, do we want to get name and address of the member of the public who
Yeah, I'd
chimed in?
like to get that. So, Mr. Sultan, if you don't mind giving your name and
Sure.
address for the record, that'd be great.
Sure. Babir Sultan, located 8109 East 96th Street, Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, Mr. Sultan?
No, that'll be it. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else, Joe, that, for public comment?
Mr. Chair.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close public comment, and so now we'll allow the applicant to come back and speak a little bit more. So thank you for the update about the alleyway. Will still remain an alleyway even with the project. If I can go back and ask staff, one of the conditions is the condition number 2. Applicant provides a savings clause to be included in the vacation ordinance. Can you explain what that is, and does the applicant understand what that is?
No, Justin. I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about the savings clause that was added by, I believe, Public Works. We can get a little clarification on that.
I do believe, I'm not sure if, well, Nick Bassanetto from Public Works is on. I'm not sure if he would know, but that's who I would defer to.
Okay.
Hopefully he's listening. He is in the meeting on Zoom. Nick, are you there? I'm guessing he's stepped away from his computer.
Yeah, if you, I can get some more clarification on that. They were in the utility comments, so I do apologize.
I just hadn't seen that before. I was kind of curious what that was.
From which utility, do you know?
Not off the top of my head.
Mr. Chair, we'll find out what that's really in reference to before this goes to city council.
I think that would be good. You understand that, applicants? So, our body is just a recommending body. We give a recommendation to the city council. But there's just an item on there, number 2, that's on your conditions, just to get a little clarification what that is. And so city staff will follow up with you what that means and what you need to do prior to this going to city council and go through the process there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point in time, anything else to add, applicants, before we close testimony?
No, I don't think so, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So at this time, we'll go ahead and close all testimony and speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll take a motion, please.
Thank you.
And I think, remember again, commissioners, this is just for the vacation of the right of way. It's not necessarily for the overall project itself. That'll come back at a later date.
Chair Crow, I move to approve docket item 4 with conditions.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 4 with conditions stated. Giovanni, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Baker,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hassick,
Aye.
Adelia,
Aye.
Looks like the motion passes in 5-0. Thank you for bringing it in and good luck moving forward. All right, moving on then to docket item number 5, please.
Docket item 5, case number SUP 2023-00049. Request to approve a special use permit to allow for construction of a 12,000 square foot addition to the Kansas City, Missouri water treatment plant in District R6 on 83 acres located at the northwest corner of Northwest 32nd Street and North Oak Traffic Way. Genevieve Kahn is the staff planner.
One moment while I share my screen. Docket item number 5 is for a special use permit for the expansion of the Casey Water Lab at 2 Northeast 32nd Street. Site is generally located just north of North Kansas City. This is the subject site outlined in yellow. The water treatment plant, as you can see, extends beyond and is currently located on 3 separate parcels that are planned to be combined. This is the site plan that was reviewed for the existing building. So as you can see, it's located on the southern portion of the site along Missouri 9 Highway. And then this is a zoomed in site plan here. You can see the addition is on this back half. And there are approximately, I believe, 36 additional parking spaces being added. This is the landscape plan that was provided by the applicant. Will provide adequate screening for all parking areas. And then some of the building elevations that were provided and a little bit easier to see with some of the rendering models. Just have some street view images as it is a fairly small and straightforward project. So this is the view looking west on the highway to the south of the water treatment center, and this is the building that will be expanded. Again, just another view looking at the site. The addition will be located to the rear here. And staff recommends approval with conditions for this special use permit. And I can take any questions at this time.
Can you remind us why this is coming before the planning commission? Why do we need a special use permit?
Yes, so as was stated in the advertisement language, this property is located in an R6 zoning district. And as most of you know, that is a residential zoning district, and the code defines it as a utilities and service use, which does require a special use permit in all our districts. Because this facility has been around for so long, it appears that there's no history of it ever receiving any special conditional use plans, as they once were called, or conditional use permits. There's really no plan history on this case. So with the relatively minor expansion, we're sort of bringing it all into compliance with today's zoning and development code standards.
So is this special use permit covering just the area in yellow, or will it cover the whole water plant?
It will apply for the entire treatment center. There's just more specific site plans for the building addition.
Okay. And there's not a time limit on this special use permit. It's
correct.
Kind of forever. Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions from the commission to city staff? Okay. Seeing that, let's go ahead and welcome the applicant then. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is John Garr. I'm with Finkel Williams Architecture, 8787 Renner Avenue in Lenexa, Kansas, 66219. I also have with me today members of KC Water, architect Deb Smith and engineer Chris Herrera. Just a little bit of background, a little bit in addition to what Genevieve has described. As you can see, the property's been occupied since the early 20s. This is one building of several that maintain the water quality within the Kansas City greater metropolitan area. The building that we're working on was built in approximately 1990, early 1990. So 35 years, the laboratory facility, so that it serves as a testing facility for all the water department water needs throughout this facility. The need is primarily for the fact safety for the employees and the testing, and to keep up with the demands for water testing. The parking and the development is been developed in accordance with sort of the use and the demand that's needed. Project is approximately 20,000 square foot building with about 10,000 square foot of addition. The water department will occupy for the laboratory use all but about 6,000 square feet of that will be left as future tenant space. With that, I think that we're in agreement with the staff recommendation. I think there was a mention that the property would be potentially combined for plats. That is not the intent of the applicant to combine those lots at this point in time. And with that, I had answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners regarding docket item number 5? Okay, seeing none. Let's go ahead and open it up for public testimony then. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 5, please come forward in the chambers or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, there's no one in the chamber wishing to speak and no one on Zoom has raised their hand.
And we'll go ahead and close public testimony then. Anything else to discuss from the applicants?
Mr. Chair, this is Deborah Smith with KC Water. I'm the architect and the department's project manager. We have discussed, rather than replatting the property into a single plat, looking at rezoning it so it's more appropriate for the use as a water treatment plant rather than leaving it as residential. We will follow up with that at a later date. I didn't want to say we were make it sound like we were disregarding the planning department's recommendations.
Chair Crowell, may I add a point of clarification? There is a condition of approval in the special use permit to, of course, to be approved by the BZA at a future date, that the 3 existing parcels shall be combined by deed, not platting, just to be clear, by deed with the county, as we do not encourage or typically allow buildings and facilities structurally to cross property lines. So that is a condition of approval of this special use permit.
Okay, what number is that on the conditions?
4.
Okay, and you're looking to have that done before building permits? Can that be done before occupancy?
The issue, the reason for the recommendation is because there will be building code issues. It doesn't matter if the parcels or lots are under separate ownership, because they are drawn the way they are, they can be transferred to a different owner. And so the building code has to look at it as though they're separate ownerships. So that's why Genevieve is asking for it prior to permit, so that we avoid issues with building plan review.
And
the
also
type of
to
permit.
be clear, add one more point, rezoning this property to a more appropriate district that allows this type of use outright would not negate the need to combine the parcels under a single deed and ownership.
Okay. Does
Mr.
that, go
Chair,
ahead.
If I may add that the lab and the project itself are all contained in a single plat.
You could drop the condition if you want. This is actually a customer service thing that we're trying to offer to another department within the city so that they don't get hung up at building plan review. But if they don't want to do it, the commission doesn't see the need, then they can try to sort it out at that time.
I just don't want them to get caught up in not being able to get building permits for some technicality like this. You know, having 3 different lots on the site.
Yeah, I mean, this is an extremely common situation, and combining by deed doesn't require anyone's approval. It's just drawing up a deed and recording it. So there's no process to that or application fee. It's just on them to do that and get it recorded. And then they provide that document that shows it's been recorded to our building plans review staff, and they then review it as one parcel. Would require fire rated construction within the existing building along the property lines. And I'm assuming the building's walls internally are not built that way already. We're trying to be helpful, not burdensome. They'll encounter that issue. There's a building code appeal board that they could pursue an appeal with that board later. But you know, just like all appeals, that's not an easy path. It's easier, in our opinion, to just combine it by deed and address it up front.
Okay. Does that make sense, Ms. Smith and Mr. Gar?
Yes, that's very helpful, and we can follow up before the BZA meeting in January.
Sounds good. Okay, anything else to discuss on this case? All right, with that, we'll go ahead and close all testimony and speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowell, I move to approve docket item 5 with conditions.
I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 5 with conditions stated. Giovanni, can you take roll call on the motion, please?
Baker,
Aye.
Prowl,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hassett.
Aye.
Adelia,
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes in 5-0. Thank you for bringing it in, and good luck moving forward. All right.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yep, thank you. All right, so let's move on then to docket item number 7, please.
Item number 7 is case number ROW 2023-00015. A request to approve the vacation of public right-of-way of about 89 feet in length, generally located west of Mulberry Street between Union Avenue and St. Louis Avenue. Matthew Barnes, the staff planner.
Good morning, Matthew Barnes, Development Management Division, City Planning Development. With me, I have a docket item number 7, which is a vacation of right of way at 938 Mulberry and the West Bottoms. This site is generally located in the West Bottoms, just west of downtown. Here's a closer view of the site. You have 670 to the south, I-35 to the east, and the Union Pacific Railroad running right adjacent to this site. Here's a closer view of the vacation requested. The applicant owns both sides of this property. It's an alley that currently is not serving any structures or properties other than the two that the applicant owns. Here's a street view. The alley is, if you can see the buildings kind of lined up generally with that. It's currently fenced off. There's no access to this alley, and it's not serving any public purpose. And you can see the dead ends right into the railroad as there's cars there currently. As stated, does not have any future purpose or is currently accessible. The applicant is responsible for retaining any kind of utility easements for Spectrum. They own 100% of the adjacent right of way. And the UR plan that was approved in 2022 identifies this right of way as to be vacated. With that, staff recommends approval subject to conditions for docket item number 7. I can take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commission to city staff? All right. Do you mind stop sharing the screen here? Thank you. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and welcome the applicant then. Is the applicant's available?
I promoted David Lawrence.
Sorry, I didn't hear who.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. I'm David Lawrence with SK Design Group, civil engineers for Samara Roads development in this district. I believe Grant Ramos is on the phone. If you like his phone number, I can provide that to promote him as well if there's any questions directed to him. Yes, so this current property is a parking lot that covers over the alley. As part of this project, we will be replacing the lot with a new parking lot in the same configuration. But we wanted to do that correctly and not put it on the alley. So we requested the vacation of the alley.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners to the applicant? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up for public testimony then. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 7, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
There's no one in the chamber who's wishing to speak, but someone named Grant Ramos has raised his hand, so I will promote Grant.
Okay. Hi, Grant. As you take yourself off of mute, please state your name and address for the record.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, Grant Romas, 8101 Rosewood Drive in Prairie Village, Kansas, 66208. I raised my hand because David had mentioned to me, again, part of the ownership group for the West Bottoms Propco Master LLC with Samara Road. Available for any questions. No further comment. I think pretty straightforward.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Anybody else, Joe, wishing to speak from the public?
No, Mr. Chair, that's it.
All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and close public testimony. Anything else you guys would like to add from the applicant standpoint?
I was just going to add that we're also the applicant for the next 2 cases, I believe, for simplicity.
Okay, sounds good. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and close all testimony then and speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll take a motion then on docket item number 7.
Chair Crow, I move to approve docket item 7 with conditions.
Second.
So I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 7 with conditions stated. Giovanni, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Baker,
Aye.
Prowl.
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Essek,
Aye.
Sedalia.
Aye.
Looks like the motion passes in 5-0. Thank you for bringing that forward. I guess we'll hear the next one then now, right? So, all right, Joe, let's move on to docket item number 8, please.
Docket item 8 is case ROW 2023-00006. A request to vacate public right-of-way about 137 feet in length for West Santa Fe Street between Union Avenue and St. Louis Avenue. Matthew Barnes, again, is the staff planner.
The docket number 8, still located in the West Bottoms, is highlighted here in yellow. North of 670, east of or west of I-35. Here's the subject site outlined in yellow. You can see Santa Fe Street to the east, Union Avenue to the south, St. Louis Avenue to the north, and Mulberry Street to the west. The applicant does own all adjacent properties to the subject right-of-way request to be vacated. Here is the view of that alley. It's generally located between those two telephone poles, extending west there. As you can see, it's not accessible. There's a fence as well as, parking stops along the right of way there. So it's, as stated, it's not currently accessible and does not serve a future purpose. The applicant is responsible for retaining utility easements for Spectrum and Evergy. They own 100% of all adjacent properties, and this was also identified in the UR plan approved in 2022 as to be vacated. With that, staff recommends approval subject to conditions for docket item number 8, and I can take any additional questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commission regarding docket item number 8? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and welcome the applicant again.
Hello again. I'm David Lawrence with SK Design Group. The owner owns both sides of this alley, and the intent is to redevelop the north property while the south property remains the existing building. The function of the current alley location will become like a private service alley for both buildings, but no more right of way, as it won't be serving anyone except these two buildings.
Okay, any questions from the commission to the applicant? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up for public testimony then. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 8, please come forward in the chambers or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, there's no one in the chamber and no one on Zoom has raised their hand.
Okay, so go ahead and close public testimony then. Anything else to add from the applicant standpoint?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. So we'll close testimony then and speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crow, I move to approve docket item 8 with conditions.
Second.
So I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 8 with conditions stated. Giovanni, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Baker,
Aye.
Prowl.
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Essek,
Aye.
Sedalia.
Aye.
Okay, looks like the motion passes then 5-0. Thank you for bringing that one forward, and good luck as you move forward with the project. All right, so with that, let's go to docket item number 9.
All right, docket item 9 is case ROW 2023-00004. A request to approve a vacation of St. Louis Avenue between Santa Fe Street to the Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way. Matthew Barnes is the staff planner.
Thank you, Joe. Docket item number 9 is the vacation of St. Louis Avenue. Still located in the West Bottoms, just west of downtown. Here is the requested right-of-way to be vacated. It is the right-of-way between Santa Fe Street and the Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way, including a little stub to the north of an alley. The applicant owns 75% of adjacent property. The other is owned by the Railroad State Board. Here is a view of St. Louis Avenue from Santa Fe. You can see the intersection of the railroad kind of diagonal through that at the terminus of this block. And here's a closer view when the train is not there. This intersection has been identified as a dangerous intersection that has, you can see that on the left side of the screen, there is railroad right away coming this way, as well as Mulberry Street does intersect that way. And from this view, you can see that two separate potential conflicts coming towards you as you go St. Louis this way. There is an approved project plan that shows, and this was in the approved UR plan as well, a building that is located over this proposed right-of-way. That's highlighted in red there. It's a multi-family structure. This vacation was a requirement of that UR plan. The applicant is responsible for retaining utility easements and relocating utilities for Evergy, Spectrum, Spire, streetlights, and water services. And they do own over 75% of adjacent properties. With that, staff is recommending approval subject to conditions for docket item number 9, the vacation of right-of-way for St. Louis Avenue. And I can take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commission regarding docket item number 9? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and welcome the applicant again. Good morning.
Good morning. So this is the complicated one of the 3. St. Louis has quite a few utilities under it. We are in discussions with Evergy, Spire, and Spectrum about relocating those, as well as there is a water main that we are discussing relocation with Water Services as part of public improvements in this district. We are showing a building crossing this right of way. Other than that, I think it was pretty well covered by Matthew.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners to the applicant regarding docket item 9? Okay, seeing none, let's open it up for public testimony then. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 9, please come forward in the chambers or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, there's no one in the chamber, but Grant has raised his hand.
Okay.
Yeah. Commissioners, yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yes. If you can state your name and address again for the record, and sorry about that, but we need that.
No, all good. So Grant Romas, 8101 Rosewood Drive, Prairie Village, Kansas, 66208. I think this is very well covered. Something of note here that I think aligns with the city flagging this as a dangerous intersection. So Samara Road, as developer, owner of several of these properties, including that the property with the project plan that was shown on screen. So we had commissioned Trans Systems locally as a consultant to evaluate necessary safety enhancements at both this crossing and then a crossing to the west at Hickory and Union. And what they found effectively is that the best course of action for the east leg of that intersection, where you do have the railroad crossing and where we are requesting the vacation, is that the street actually be closed on a westbound approach towards those tracks. So closing that ultimately results in, I think, what is necessary as a vacation here. I think additionally, something that maybe wasn't brought up is that St. Louis continues to the east of Santa Fe here, but does not go through. So it only has a small leg that bends and effectively terminates mid-block to the east of here. So it's not actually accomplish anything from a road standpoint except for carrying utilities, which we are obviously taking care of in our redevelopment efforts. So just wanted to make sure that there was an awareness of a separate study going on to evaluate the quiet zone railroad crossing enhancements.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners on that? Okay, anybody else out there, Joe, that wants to speak public testimony?
No, Mr. Chair.
Good, we'll go ahead and close public testimony then. Anything else to add, applicant?
I think we pretty well covered it. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we'll close testimony and speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crow, I move to approve docket item 9 with conditions.
Second.
Okay, so I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 9 with conditions stated. Giovanni, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Baker,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Bassett,
Aye.
Fidelio.
Okay, it looks like the motion passes 5-0. So thank you for bringing all those in and good luck as you move forward with the project.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like we're moving right along and we're ready for docket item number 10.
Yeah, and that's your last case. Docket item 10 is case SUP 2023-00042. A request to approve a special use permit for a bed and breakfast in District R 2.5 located at 3242 Benton Boulevard. Connor Tomlin is the staff planner.
Good morning, Commissioners. Today I have in front of you CD SUP 2023-00042 located at 3242 Benton Boulevard in an R25 zoning district. The request is a special use permit for bed and breakfast. This is the general location of the site. This is a closer look at the site itself along Benton Boulevard and East 33rd Street. On the west side of the property, you'll see there's an existing garage on the site. This is the current condition of the site. These are the plans. On the left there, you have the garage outlined in red, which is to be converted into an office space connected by a breezeway to the primary structure. This was done to meet the minimum requirements of 3,000 square feet for a bed and breakfast. On the right-hand side, you have the site plan of the building itself, as well as what you see shaded in red is pavement for the required off-street parking. These are the plans for the interior stretching from the basement to the 3rd floor. A variance to the setback requirements will be sought at the Board of Zoning Adjustment, plus any additional variances that are deemed necessary. Staff recommends approval with conditions, and with that, I conclude my presentation.
Okay. Any questions from the commission to city staff regarding docket item number 10? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and welcome the applicant then.
Okay, it looks like the applicant might be Christopher Morris, and I'm promoting Christopher.
Okay.
Oh, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Mind state your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about your project, please.
Christopher Morris, 3230 Benton Boulevard, Kansas City, Missouri, 64128. 8. It's the reactivation of a home within the Oak Park neighborhood. Damaged a few years ago, fire, and I would call it as a defensive mechanism or just to get the house reactivated. This is one of the creative steps that we're going to use to help benefit the community.
Okay, and you're making this into a bed and breakfast?
Sir.
Can you tell us a little bit about the operation of that?
It will follow the bed and breakfast rules and requirements. Living on site. I don't know if you can tell from the address or not. It's live fairly close to this home, and again, it's pretty much to get the home back in order and help the neighborhood with a reactivated property.
You said you'll live there as part of the deal?
Correct.
Okay, and so you'll be the one to manage it and make sure everything goes well with the customers and that kind of thing?
Correct.
Okay. All right, any questions from the commissioners to the applicant? All right, seeing none. So with that, let's go ahead and open it up for any public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 10, please come forward in the chambers or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, there's no one in the chamber and no one on Zoom is raising their hand.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close public testimony then. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Morris, about this project?
No, I just want to let everybody know that Connor's been great. Appreciate his hard work.
Okay, and you did have public meetings on this?
Correct, yes. Neighborhood association meetings.
Okay, and any comments generated out of that?
Excited for it and looking forward to utilizing it.
Okay. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and close all testimony and speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crow, I move to approve docket item 10 with conditions.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 10 with conditions stated. Giovanni, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Baker,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hassick,
Aye.
Adelia,
Aye.
All right, it looks like the motion passes in 5-0 for approval of the project. Thank you for bringing it in and good luck as you move forward with this, Mr. Morris.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, with that, that takes us through all of our docketed items. Thank you, everybody. Is there anything else we need to bring before the commission, Mr. Rex Winkle?
Other than letting, I guess it's really just James and Tyler at this point that are online know that I am leaving the city and going to accept a different job in Arkansas. And this will be my last planning commission meeting. And it's been a pleasure to work with you guys now for a couple of years, and I've worked with Kobe for even longer than that. But I know you're in good hands with Larissa and the rest of the staff that we have here. Diane might participate in some of the meetings as well going forward until they fill the position.
Damn, sorry to hear that, but congratulations to you. When are so you said this is the last one. When are you headed to Arkansas?
As soon as I find a place to live. That's been a big challenge.
When does your city email stop going to, or when will you stop checking it?
I'm actually, it has not been taken away yet. Some other things have already been taken away, I've noticed, but probably Friday. Friday is my last day.
Okay, cool. I'll shoot you a note.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, for everything you've done. Certainly appreciate working with you over these past several years. Done a great job. Really enjoyed spending time with you, and certainly wish you well as you move forward.
Thank you.
So sounds like a great opportunity.
Yeah, feels like a very big loss for Kansas City.
Thank you.
Anything else to discuss amongst the commission? So for you two new guys, thank you for sitting in with us today. I hope you had a good experience with this, and any comments you have, please let me know to make this a little bit easier on you guys as you transition in. So, but certainly be meeting you here after the first of the year.
Chair Crowell, I was also wondering if the two new commissioners are going to go through training, and if so, if that could be shared with me, because I might jump in on that again. I'm just curious to know. I remember when I went through it, I understood about half of it, and I'm curious now if it would fill in gaps or if it would just be boring. But I'd like to participate if it's made available to everyone.
Let Joe answer that.
We can make the training available. The two new CPC members were trained yesterday. But if you'd like, we can set one up in the near future and do a run through with everyone again.
I wouldn't mind if you sent the materials along again. I'm sure they're already in my inbox somewhere, but you don't need to set up an additional one for me. Thank you, though.
Okay, I will send that over.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a Merry Christmas. And we'll see you after the first of the year. Our next meeting is, Tuesday, the 2nd. So might be a tough day to come back right to the Planning Commission, but I'll see you then. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you.